Hello and welcome to the Vinyl Vault. My name is Tony Nguyen.
I'm Parker.
And we are handling a little music today. We're going to be breaking down an album and talking our top songs, if there are any top songs for this album. And we decided for this week, we are going to talk about Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory. Parker, I know that this was my pick for the week, so I'd like to hear what you thought of the album.
So, what year did this come out?
This was in 2000.
Okay, so I was 4. This album came out.
Yeah. Were you rocked to sleep to
surprisingly, no.
Okay.
I listened to this on my way back from work. In my work, I mean, somebody else was driving. I was listening, and I fell asleep.
Okay, so you were rocked to sleep.
I got through the first probably 5 or 6 tracks. I knew track 8, so I didn't have to listen to it. And then I just kind of passed out, and then I woke up, and Apple had started a shuffle, and it landed on Eminem for some reason. So I knew that wasn't part of the album, but it was.
Or was it, if you fell asleep in it?
I have this opinion about Linkin Park that, like, when I think of Linkin Park, I think of me when I was like 13 playing Xbox in the middle of the night. We're drinking Game Fuel. We're playing Halo. We're arguing about people like camping instead of actually like going at it. Call of Duty, Rust, the Rust map, Nuketown.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the era for me, at least. I think people should only listen to Linkin Park when they are working out. If they're mad or if they're sad. I have never met a person with a smile on their face listening to Linkin Park, but that just might be more of an indictment of the messages they are trying to get across. Mm-hmm. They're not doing Pharrell Williams' Happy, which would sound interesting, but when I think of Linkin Park, I think angry. I think angry.
I can see where you're going with that. There is indeed some angry music that they play there, and especially with this album in comparison to the other ones, where they do go a harder route. But I think in this one, it was more so a statement of trying to build this hybrid theory of hip hop elements and rock. What I think is, in terms of how I feel, it's a little bit of obviously nostalgia for the past, since 2000, because this came out right during my high school years. So I mean, that's to me is kind of perfect. I feel like Linkin Park is very teenage angst like driven, and I mean a lot of the lyrics, seemingly. Are about any type of trauma and abuse and things like that, and dealing with it in a different way from heavy metal being sometimes either being a lot more aggressive or your lighter pop and things like that, of being happy and everything like that. Like they just had a great blend of all these elements put together and created nu metal is the genre that they didn't necessarily start, but I think that they are by far the best out of that genre.
When I think nu metal, I think of Fred Durst immediately. Alien Ant Farm. It's kind of an interesting. You go from the '90s where there was this, there was grunge, and then it kind of morphed into this nu metal where I think society was like, listen, metal's great, but like we want to listen to it at work. And so like, I mean, I won't lie. I've heard Linkin Park on like, local radio stations that had been, kind of doing the softer rock or like pop from the 2000s. And that's just, that's that comment.
Well, yeah, I think the beauty of what they tried to create, and I think successfully created, was just a blend of being able to introduce harder music for mainstream, for people who really liked hip hop, and also bringing hip hop to rockers and things like that, and then also like having a blend of the choices of their singles of doing a lot of ballads along with the more traditional rock or up tempo music.
I think Fort Minor is a much better band.
So, do you lean more towards the rapping, or do you lean more towards the
Chester
singing?
Chester is really good at singing on this album, or just in general. I think that kind of like what we were talking about last week with Michael McDonald and how his voice fits a specific niche. Chester Bennington, his voice is perfect for this kind of style of music. I don't see him like, we did the theory of, could Michael sing Celine Dion? I don't think Chester could sing Celine Dion.
You'd be surprised because they do a lot of covers as well, more so in their concerts. I just recently heard Chester singing Adele. And it was fantastic. I mean, he just has huge range. He's just so talented.
Yeah, and no offense to I don't know, and that's just, I mean, Chester's influence is so large for a casual listener. Yeah, the guy on the left, I don't know his name. I know he did Fort Minor. I don't know his name. I know Chester's name.
Yeah, Mike Shinoda. Mike is the brainchild of everything Linkin Park. He produced, he wrote like all the songs. He's behind the imagery, like the cover. Like he's more technically more Linkin Park than Chester. But obviously the front man you immediately assume is like the guy. In this case, Mike Shinoda is the guy.
I mean, their music videos, I mean, when you watch them now, you're thinking, God, how did we think that this was like good visually?
Yeah.
Because it's very clear. It's just a green screen. I don't know which song it is, but it's the one. It might be Numb. It might be In the End, but it's the one where they're kind of staying on top of gargoyles. Like
yeah, I think that's In the
building.
End. Yeah.
Man, it's almost comedic now, but I bet in 2002 or 2000 or whenever this came out,
2000, yeah.
I bet this was like the talk of the town. I think everybody was probably super excited. Like, how'd they get on that building? And it's like, come on now.
I mean, having lived it, I never really thought that. It was just like, oh, what are they going to do? I think their music videos, which they are also really great about bringing things that are popular now, such as like anime and gaming, into the forefront of like popularity in pop culture. So later, when they would do a lot of like anime or animation based music videos, like it really like brought in just the cool factor, especially people who were already into that kind of stuff, and be like, here's a mainstream band that loves like the same stuff that I do, and is bringing it to the forefront and bringing it into a pop culture. Let's kind of go a little bit deeper into the album. Did you have any songs that you felt like really stands out?
Yeah, and you're gonna hate me. It's basic to me, not the album, but my picks. We tried to do a top three, and I had Crawling at 3.
Okay.
That's a good song for, if I'm in kind of an emotional state, if I'm feeling a little, little down on my luck, just listening to somebody, discuss, I think what's the line that, wounds that never heal or something that never heals. And then 2, I have In the End. I know that's probably the most popular song off this album. It might be a little overplayed in my book. I'm very big into songs that are overplayed. And, I mean, it's a classic. I mean, when you think new metal, it's got to be in everybody's top 5 at least.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, my favorite song on this album is One Step Closer. And I think it's just it didn't hit, I'll put it this way. It didn't hit me how much this song had meant to people until I stumbled across some video, because our phones listen to us, And when we were discussing this album earlier, my phone listened to it, and wouldn't you know it, I had Instagram reels related to Linkin Park popping up. And it was a video of probably in the early 2000s of them playing at this like arena, and they were playing One Step Closer, and like everyone was losing their minds. I mean, there wasn't a mosh pit or anything, but you could just tell the energy was just, I can't describe it. I mean, I'd have to show it to you. I'll probably show it to you after, maybe if you ask nicely. It's just that song. It just really, like, when I think of Linkin Park, I think of What I've Done from Transformers, and then Numb, and then probably One Step Closer.
Okay.
I know In the End is one of their Mount Rushmore songs, but I just think One Step Closer is better. That's just my opinion. Plus, it's on Rock Band, which is really fun to play.
And
Yeah. Shout out Rock Band. They're our sponsor. No, they're the defunct Rock Band. No, that was also in that time frame too. You know, Linkin Park was very popular when those kinds of games were coming out too. So it was like you got to play the same music that you would, like, you know, bang your head to.
Yeah.
He had third graders coming into school just angry from listening to Linkin Park on the bus, trying to do their multiplication tables, and just like, I don't know.
So,
it's a good song.
I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
When you take in music, do you, like, I've noticed that whenever we've gone down the harder rock or metal stuff, you know, like, do you actually feel angry after listening to the music?
I don't necessarily feel angry. I don't get. It's weird. It takes a lot for me to get angry.
Sure about that.
I just you wouldn't want to see me when I'm angry.
He turns pink. Oh no.
I would say that my emotional status are probably 95% of the time just in a good mood, and I think that's reflected in the music that I listen to. Because I mean, a lot of the picks that I've picked, are yacht rock or pop or Wham.
Yeah, so.
I listen to this style of music if I'm working on something. If I'm working out, which I don't know if you've seen me, we're on a bit of a hiatus. The issue is it's like I put it on whenever there's something I'm doing that, like, it's almost like a soundtrack to a montage in my head of me completing said task as while I'm doing it. The last thing, if I'm ever really mad about something, I don't put music on because I'm already mad. I don't need the music to get me mad.
Right.
But it is, One Step Closer is one of those ones where, like, I'll listen to it and I'll just, you do the head, no stank face, but, you bob the head. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, that's just who I am.
Okay. I think that makes sense. As for me, it's, this is the type of music that I, like, regularly listen to, and it puts me in a good mood. Really? Yeah. And that's the same with, like, Metallica and everything like that. Like, it gets me either amped up, and that's, where it works well for your, like, workouts and what have you. But also it's just like, just like when you go work out or whatever, it's taking all of this energy, and just kind of putting it out there, releasing it, and then you feel, the zen of life. And that's what it does for me. It either hypes me up or it puts me in a zen, a flow state of feeling normal. Like, I don't listen to sad music necessarily to just be sad, like. No, yeah. And sometimes there's moods where you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna wallow in this because I feel it, and might as well, But for the most part, like that, and that's what I'm trying to see if you could ever get to that similar state of listening to, quote, more aggressive music and feel that release, by the end of it, where you're like, okay, cool, like I've either have the energy or, like, I feel, like that I just head banged all of that, whatever's in me out.
I didn't know I was a science experiment.
You have been unknowingly, and me as well.
I've always watched the Truman Show. I never thought I'd live it. No, it's just I think aggressive music needs to be in everybody's library. You know, I think you should have a style of music to reflect every emotion that you have. It's just my issue, or not my issue. My take is that I have to be in the mood for Linkin Park. I have to be doing something or mowing, you know, something where I'm actively trying to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
And the music kind of motivates me. If I'm just sitting there writing a story, or if I'm just playing on my phone, I'm not listening to Linkin Park. I just don't. That's just not my style. You strike me as. Do you remember the movie Monsters University? Mm-hmm. There's a classic scene where one of the guys from Uzma Kappa, because we're okay. He's one of the nerdy ones of the bunch. He gets dropped off by his mom. And his mom's like, "Oh, you go ahead, sweetie. I'll just be listening to my tunes." And she rolls the window up. She's smiling, and you just hear nothing but like thrash death metal. And the joke is that people that are in good moods or like nerdy types don't listen to that style of music. And I probably fit that mold. I listen to it. This album is more in the playlist than other selections that we've talked about.
Sure.
And I mean this in the most respectful way possible. The 3 songs that I just listed are the ones that make the cut. I didn't really enjoy the rest of the album, but that's also just because maybe I just wasn't in that right mindset to fully take in Mr. Park and his group.
Yeah, I could see that, and for my picks, no real order. I did intentionally avoid In the End as
You've got Paper Cut on there, don't you?
I do. Paper Cut to me is such a great opening for the album that you know what you're getting into, and I love the bridge to the song. As a teenager, I never really listened to like the lyrics. It was just, what's the melody doing? What's the, sonically, what am I hearing, and the feeling and the vibe, right? Being older now and like listening to and paying attention to more stuff, like the way that Shinoda and Bennington kind of pieced together the lyrics together. I was like, oh yeah, like
they do complement each other very well. I'll say that.
Yeah,
they don't have as good a chemistry as you and I, but I think that they work very well in tandem. Yeah.
So I think Paper Cut is just such a great, intro into everything. And I found myself, after listening to the album probably like 4 or 5 times, it's still one that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to skip this. I'll go through a little bit of One Step Closer and be like, all right, like I got to the part that I really like. I'm going to move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. Paper Cut is always one that I always go through completely, along with my other choice, Crawling, as well. Obviously a very solid song, and means more lyrically, considering everything, even though I'm pretty sure it was still more so a Shinoda thing than it was a Bennington thing. And then actually my favorite song, I can say, is Pushing Me Away, the last track in the album.
Interesting. Now, just full transparency, I had told you that I had fallen asleep.
Yeah.
And I did not get back to that one. So
I think you should.
Enlighten me.
I think you should, as it is a softer song, so it's not aggressive at all. And I really like the lyrics for it. I think the subject matter is just something a little bit more relatable, that I think people have gone through, of the sacrifices you have to take for the sake of love, or for the sake of moving on, for the sake of trying to get things done, or whatever. Like, however you interpret it is definitely something like, I know who you are and what you do and what you do to me, so I have to put up this front to to make things work, or at least to get through the day. And yeah, that's a very common thing I think everyone feels, but for me, a lot of it is like kind of like that throughout my life.
I just like Linkin Park is one of those bands where it's like, for your and my generations, it's part of our upbringing. I imagine people in their 40s and 50s probably aren't big Linkin Park fans.
Well, it depends, because I'm 40 right now. That is,
I meant like late 40s. Late 40s.
Well, yeah. So I am the quote elder millennial, zennial, and I would feel that like that should still be roughly again that like teenager age group.
I guess my question is, do you like them because they're good or because they were part of your childhood?
I think they're really good. I mean, being a musician myself, I'm currently trying to write a like new metal, style song, and I tried to do a Limp Bizkit-esque riff, but I wanted to write a song in the structure of Linkin Park, but I can't rap, so then I have to focus on either a Slipknot or a Deftones or.
If only we could fly.
So yeah, like no, I think they're a legit band, and I mean they are, if not the most successful new metal band.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like, and I'm not taking a side here. I wanted to be very clear. I don't hate Linkin Park. I don't hate them. Mm-hmm. I do wonder if we could do a study how many people truly like them because they're good, or truly like them because they were part of their upbringing. I think maybe a better example of this is like Maroon 5. Mm-hmm. Maroon 5 is not a great band. They make decent music that you hear in like the dentist office.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people grew up in that Matchbox 20, Maroon 5, that era of like not boy bands, but just, kind of like that popish rock. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, how good were they? And I mean, personally, I think Linkin Park is better than Maroon 5, but that begs back to my question. Do I like this band more because of my childhood, or is it because I like them because they're just good? How much does nostalgia play in that?
Well, I mean, can you name any other band or group that has been able to successfully blend two very different genres together and make it its own?
I mean, I almost went with Jay-Z.
Okay.
They literally made an album together.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I will concede that point to you because off the top of my head, I mean, I can't really. I mean, unless you want to do. I mean, I don't think System of a Down would count. I mean, Toxicity doesn't really rap; it's just fast.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that band is pretty particularly unique in itself as well.
Yeah, it's just I mean, if you I think if you had to do a Mount Rushmore of new metal, I mean, I think Linkin Park takes one, if not two spots. Because I think that I have the opinion that I think Linkin Park is kind of a band in two chapters. I think they had their new metal era, mm-hmm. where they were getting a lot more popular, but still kind of in their roots. And then I kind of believe they became more mainstream and became more popified, and that's where you have like What I've Done.
Yeah.
And New Divide, which correct me if I'm wrong, I think has very little to no rap in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I just think over time that they might have gone away from what they were going with because of the popularity as well. Yes.
I mean, they have said that they basically, wanted to move on from just being pigeonholed to we are rap rock or rock rap. And deliberately started kind of, taking away more of that stuff and trying to blend with other genres. I mean, their newer music would, go into, other genres, including into pop and they're big into collaborations, hence the Jay-Z stuff and everything like that. Like they're truly the concept of hybrid theory is just kind of perfect for it all. Is that they feel like there's no one set genre, so they didn't want to be pigeonholed to one thing, even though they were instrumental into the creation of it. They moved on, and all the other bands in new metal also strayed away from it. I mean, Korn, Jonathan Davis, the lead singer, has deliberately was like, we're no longer going to do rap beats under our stuff. Like they haven't since then, which is too bad, because like, again, that's like sort of their best work there.
Do you think there's a specific reason why these bands stopped rapping, or do you think that it was just the market demanded they pick a one genre?
Well, at the time, new metal was not seen as, like, because it's new genre, it wasn't beloved like grunge was. When grunge came out, it killed hair metal and that genre like completely. Like we haven't seen them since.
It was something in the way.
And they had the styles of a lot more depressing lyrics and stuff like that, to a lot simplified songs. We lost the guitar solo because of grunge. New metal brought in what else is going on in the 90s. Well, rap was becoming a lot bigger, so let's bring that in, and sampling, and Daft Punk and everything like that, and but not straying too far away from things like Depeche Mode and what's to come. So, though they, again, created this, they didn't want to be pigeonholed to it. So, they just moved on from that sound. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean for this to turn into, kind of a deep philosophical conversation, but I think that's the best thing about music, is that we sit there and we think, I'm sitting here thinking, you're talking about how grunge, kind of made everything depressing, and the lack of guitar solos and all that. I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, I was born in '96. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if there was, and I'm sure somebody who was alive then will tell me. I'm not sure if there was anything super major in the music industry that would have caused the music to take that kind of negative turn, other than just it being new and people liked new things.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, keep in mind, and I think this is a good example of, and not necessarily calling you one thing or labeling you in one section or not, but you enjoy the happier, joyful music, not the like darker tones and what have you, right? So, I mean, think of the, in the 90s, we got some grunge, we got some rap, we got new music coming in, and even like dance music, a lot happier stuff. But when we get to the 2000s, this was the peak of your Britney Spears and your Backstreet Boys. This was the Mickey Mouse Club. Everyone's grown up and has started a band. So, that type of music was the top, and was the top for a while. And then suddenly a band, Linkin Park, broke through the mold and was like, hey, we are not fans of this in particular type of music. We're not happy-go-lucky people. We're not that innocent. We're truly not that innocent.
I get that.
Yes,
I get that joke.
And so
See, we both do puns, people.
So yeah, they spoke to another generation of like, hey, what happened? Grunge is gone. The leader is gone. Where is rock music going now? And it went to new metal, and Linkin Park spearheaded it. And, the rock against pop, continues. And then, eventually we would get Eminem and really bring forefront rap as the dominant,
Now, I'm going to, we'll be wrapping it up soon, but I want to ask you your opinion, because you listen to this music a lot more than I do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, time is the Father Time is the inevitable decider of when things happen. Society has left Linkin Park behind. I feel that way. That's why I feel like a lot of the reason we still love them is more of a nostalgia thing. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
Sure.
Why do you think Linkin Park got left behind, aside from obviously the tragedy with Chester? Do you have any opinions?
I mean, I think it's a very spur of the moment kind of a thing of like 2000s to 2005, maybe the span of those 5 years. That was the time for the younger people to listen to, rap rock and then your bubblegum pop. And I mean, all those genres are gone. I mean, again, like rap pretty much kind of took over, and that's sort of it at the moment. But I feel like that's also starting to go away. And I mean, today people are rediscovering new metal. Fred Durst of Linkin Park has somehow done this huge comeback, as he was sort of the most hated face of new metal, and now he's a meme. But like
I can't even wear a red hat.
yeah, he was the first one to make a red hat a statement. But like like I think people who now having grown up with only rap and hip hop, kind of go backwards and be like, oh, what if somebody put rock music into it? Well, someone has, a lot of people have, and so they're kind of rediscovering that genre. I think, I don't think it's completely dead or gone. I think, to answer your question, Linkin Park, died off because of, what happened. But, the music they changed it so much that like they needed either to come back and try another album in that style to be relevant again. For that, because that's what the fans want. But that being said, the fans that grew up with all the later stuff, I mean, I'm sure that they love the previous stuff and love the current stuff. And who's to say that with the new singer that they won't be able to recreate the magic.
That's just and it's no slight against her. I wish her nothing but the most success. I wish for nothing but support. I hope the fans. It seems like they've already welcomed her in, and I hope that she feels that support from them.
They haven't. They haven't, unfortunately.
I hope. I hope that they do.
Some have.
I hope it's not a misogyny thing. I hope they don't hold it against her because she's a woman. But regardless of her gender, she's just not Chester. I can't think of, for them, a larger backlash from the music community than if they brought out some Chester sound-alike. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they didn't. But it's like you said, maybe they just need to drop the name and like Fort Minor's right there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I like Linkin Park. I don't love Linkin Park. Mm-hmm. I don't hate Linkin Park. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's that was Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. If you guys have any suggestions or any comments,
let us know.
What do you think?
Do you even think that this is their best album? Let us know in the comments. I'm sure. I don't know any other album names from them. What's that, like Krakatoa or whatever it's called? Meteora. Yeah. See, I know my stuff.
You know your stuff.
Yeah. If you think other albums are better, let us know, and we'll be back next week, and we'll bring you a new album with a fresh perspective and some hot takes.
Speaking of, I mean, do you have you thought of what's to come?
I'm gonna be on the fence about that because I'm still trying to decide which genre I want to go into.
Sure.
I'm stuck between mid 2000s rock, like not new metal, but rock.
Yeah.
Or probably something like R&B from the 80s. I don't know. It's either way. You know what? There's been no resurgence of jazz. Maybe I'm not picking jazz. No, love jazz, not picking jazz. But we'll be back next week and we'll let you know.
All right. Well, for Parker Padgett, I'm Tony Nguyen, and this has been The Vinyl Vault.